The end of a season and potentially the end of friendships. All that and more. WAGS Miami, season finale, episode 8. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Getting nowhere, nowhere.
Heather's been singing this all night.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. WAGS Miami, the season finale, ladies. We thought this song fit pretty well with the theme of what's been transpiring in the last couple episodes, not only between boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, now non-fiancés, but friends. So, let's get started. I am one of your hosts, Heather Yared. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Heather Yared. And to my left, Dominique, where can they find you, darling?
Yes. I'm Dominique Price. You can find me on all social media platforms at DominiqueP_ESQ.
I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jennifer Leone TV.
All right, let's get right into it. There was one very predominant theme throughout this show, in my opinion, and that was Ashley and her awareness with Darnell. So I'm just curious, what did you all think about how aware she was with Darnell's situation and how her energy was throughout this show?
The entire show or this particular episode?
This episode, this show, this one.
I feel like she was trying to be aware, and I think any time when you and a friend are so imbalanced in where you are in your life, you're bound to have moments where it may come across as if you don't care, when in your mind you've been trying to do your best to be there for someone else. I think she did a decent job. I loved the fact that she took the ownership and went to Darnell to talk to her because she felt like it was off. She didn't wait for a blow up. She, hit it straight on. And I think both girls did an amazing job of, talking it out, getting to the root of the issue and moving on as real friends do.
Gotcha. Jennifer, what do you think about Ashley overall in this episode and through the ins and outs of each scene? Do you think she was being aware of Darnell's situation?
I do, actually. I think that she did the best that she could, exactly what Dominique said. I think that everyone has their idea in any kind of relationship, whether you're in a you know what I'm talking about.
Personal, whatever. Yes.
Whatever. Any type of relationship, communication is key, so it's good that they talked it out. But the thing is that everyone has their idea of what they want someone else to do, but you can't make that person do it. And obviously, okay, let's say Ashley just got engaged, but it was to a boyfriend that she had for 2 years. It's not even that case. She has a baby. This is what she's been waiting for so long, and she's doing a good job, I think, of keeping it to herself. She doesn't say too much to Darnell. She keeps her involved and she keeps it open. And I don't know, I think that they have a good friendship.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I would say. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just loved with a capital L when Vanessa tried to say like, oh, so y'all like not cool anymore, and how Ashley shut it down quickly. Like, that's still my girl. We may fight, but that's still my boo.
Yeah.
'Cause that's totally me. Like, regardless of what's going on with me and my girls, like, you can't talk about what's happening in this little duo.
Now, that's another theme that I want to get to a little bit later, which is the ride or die loyalty factor, quote unquote girl code, which we'll touch on a little bit. But I wanted to comment, I was very intrigued. I wanted to really get your all's perspective because it's so touchy, especially with women. It's a very touchy situation when you're dealing with engagement, when you're dealing with career and people excelling and you feeling like you're not. How often you have those conversations and what that looks like. I was on the fence. I think that there were opportunities where Ashley could have not brought up Philip and reserved that and held back and kind of let Darnell have her time to speak on what's happening with her. But no, at the same time though, like a true confident woman and one that wants to be happy, and she should not be happy, she was just like, it's like when I was in this situation with Philip, this is how I felt. And so I was intrigued. I was very intrigued and curious about that because it is so, again, touchy, especially today, this day and age.
Yeah.
Now, Claudia staying home. We touched on this a little bit last week. To me, I think the girls felt so emotional about it because it was almost a blatant slap in the face of how much she cares about the success of this show. We saw this a lot, and it was brought up a lot in many inappropriate times. What did you guys think?
I think I was kind of on the fence about it, just for the simple fact that, you know, we have the ability as an audience to see the real reason why Claudia decided to not go on the trip. And so I feel like for the girls, because maybe Claudia's not cool with all of them, because she doesn't have that intimate relationship with anyone outside of Astrid, she wasn't comfortable, or maybe she just didn't care to express to everybody the real reason why she didn't come. So from onlookers, the girls who, you know, have just patched things up the episode prior, they're looking for her to take that extra step of leap as well, and come. You know, but without providing context as to why she wasn't coming, it was a slap in the face. And I could understand while they were kind of like, well, screw her. Like, what was the purpose of like extending an olive branch if she's going to kind of continue to just be like, F you guys?
So that's how you would have taken it if you were in that situation. You would have been like, well, that's a slap in the face.
Yeah, not being able to see what we seen on the audience side, for sure. But because we are the audience and we were able to see the true reason as to why she decided not to go, I felt for Claudia, because you guys aren't my girls. So I'm not going to tell you the inner workings of my relationship, because I'm private when it comes to my relationships. That's none of your guys' business. However, I did understand Ashley's point. I think it was Ashley when she said she could have at least sent a text to just let everybody know, and not have to hear from Astrid, which puts Astrid in a really uncomfortable situation, because now she's relaying all these messages.
I mean, Astrid looked like she's pretty comfortable playing that middleman.
Well,
We
and
see
that's
that.
a whole nother. I'll wait on that whole point.
I can't wait to talk about that.
I'm just reel this back in and put it in my pocket. Not time.
Croatia was really interesting to me. I think interesting is probably going to be, every time I say interesting, if you're drinking, have another sip of wine, because I'm going to be saying it a lot. Croatia overall looked super boring. Okay, hiking in high heels, flats. I know it was like a pick something out of the hat, but no offense to these ladies, I think these ladies are authentic, they're fun. I have much to say again on that note, but not a crowd for Croatia. It was like they were struggling. It was painful for them to try to do something outside of drinking. I mean, the wine and cheese was the funnest thing, I thought.
Well, Astrid picked it, but then I don't think she did the research on, you know, what the streets were like.
Clearly
and all
not.
that.
Clearly not. Like Darnell said, maybe she was trying to get a Croatian or something. But did you guys think that? Am I like crazy? Like, sure, I would go there with a boyfriend. I would go there with a husband, a fiance, or like a girlfriend that I want to maybe get a massage and have some zen moments, but not like girls trip. Ooh, ooh. Like, no.
There wasn't really any, you know, happiness of anything going on. I mean, they had good
I feel
dinners.
like they tried to have a good moment when they were at what seemed to be like a happy hour or a bar. There was some playful, like, rummaging around. Like, you know, I thought that was kind of cute. But for the most part, yeah, I think they could have done
No
something
boats.
different.
Yeah, no boats, no anything like
Well,
that.
they did get on a boat to go
was-
over to the private island.
And that private island had those spiritual stones stacked up.
That was
The
funny.
whole thing just, in
Darnell blew
context, I
it.
was like, okay, I'm missing something. I don't care. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
well,
be
it was like a
into the job.
Stonehenge moment.
Yeah.
But even getting Vanessa and Astrid going on their hike, like looking into things, they're screaming, and even Vanessa's like, I mean, it wasn't like anything was bad in there, but it looked like a murder scene. It's like, oh, we are stretching here.
Well, it did remind me of one, though. It reminded
I didn't
me
remember
of...
seeing in it. Did you guys see it?
Oh, no, not in it, but the whole, like, scene of
yeah,
them being there, like, gorgeous girls, like, all hanging out, and then, like, it looks super creepy.
Yeah.
That's like a horror movie.
Yeah, well, it did open up the opportunity for a lot of curious conversations between the women, and we see that. One of which between Vanessa and Darnell. I was shocked when Darnell said that Rashad has washed his hands. No communication, nothing outside the lawyers, which they brought up a little bit last time, but this is shedding a little bit more light into that. I'm disgusted.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like he's not... I feel like there's a little bit more respect that you give to someone who is the mother of your child, someone who you've been in a relationship for, 4+ years. I think they've been together for 7. I think she didn't do anything out of the ordinary to cause this breakup. So it's a little baffling that he's treating her as if like she cheated. He's treating her like she's like tore out his heart and threw it in the freaking ocean. Like he's being a little like over the top. He's also, to me, I feel like, okay, let me back up. When you go through a breakup and a guy makes you kind of feel like, okay, it's whatever, it'll make you kind of feel like your entire relationship was invalidated. Like, okay, maybe the love that I thought we had that was there wasn't as high as I thought, because if it was, why would he treat me in the manner that he's treating me right now? So I just feel like on a man level, he's a coward.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Did you see this coming?
Well, here's the thing. I think that Rashad is just kind of trying to wash his hands of his whole old life, because Darnell was with him when he was nothing. So I think sometimes people just want to put that in the past and then just start everything new and pretend like, you know, she's not there anymore and just say no, nothing. So I can see why he's doing that if that's the case.
Totally.
It's not an excuse.
Right.
It's
a point.
agree with you.
Yeah, it's a
but
point.
I hear you.
Yeah, the only time I've seen a dude run this quick and wash the hands is if there's a mistress. I'm not saying there is. I haven't read anything, but the first thing that came up for me, I was like, there's got to be a man who is so validated externally from his money and his beep. There's got to be someone else. That was where my mind
And a
went
new
immediately.
life.
Oh, yes.
Just like what I was. Yeah,
Also,
new life,
you said
new
it
girl.
politely. I was like,
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but there
I'll
has
say
to
it.
be
I'll
a
say
new
it.
woman, new life,
Something.
new everything. Yeah,
yeah,
I don't like it.
something, and that was shocking. When we, the other part to me, once they cut to the girls and everyone talking to Ashley about the bridesmaids and the dresses and so forth. Did you guys think the girls are fishing? They were like, so have you picked a dress? Have you picked bridesmaids?
Yeah.
I definitely thought they were fishing right
They
there, but I'm
were.
like, you guys aren't friends like that for that to even have been like a serious conversation. So I just was looking at them like, y'all are desperate.
Just like she
It's
did.
like high school.
Ashley, I feel like Ashley looked at them the same way. She was like, yeah, my dress is picked
Right,
out.
right.
I asked Darnell to be a bridesmaid. And their faces were like, like
I guess.
Yeah.
What did you think this was?
Love it.
I am excited for season 2, though. I'm hoping we get a wedding special.
Oh, you think so? I'm sure we will. I mean,
would
that's
love
going to
to
make
see-
it.
I mean, Ashley, you know, slide that invitation in my DM. I'm available.
Just yeah.
Well, Astrid will make sure that someone's getting invited to something because she's always pushing for Claudia. And if she's not invited, if she is coming or not coming, to get insight into the who, what, when, where, why. We see this at dinner. Another inappropriate moment to start bringing up and start arguing about Claudia. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They saw the tweets that were like, Ashley's jealous of me, this, that, and the other. That is what was seen at dinner that started this argument. True or false?
True. So here's my thing. I felt like Astrid's point was, Claudia's not here, but you guys for damn sure talk about her a lot. My issue with that statement is that there was a valid reason as to why she was being brought up, because in that moment she was tweeting about them, and if you're tweeting about someone, that's going to get a ding ding in your phone, and you're going to be called to mention, yo, look what I just got, because if we're homies, I'm gonna show you like this chick is tripping.
Do you think that was intentional? Do you think it was to get her name on that show since she's not there and have shit start talking?
I mean, it's a TV show, so yeah, I feel like producers play a big role in making sure that you see something when you see it. Spoiler alert, been there, done that. So I get it, but to me, it was just kind of like, I have a hard time with understanding if this is truly Astrid's response in this whole like ride or die moment, or if she's being made to, you know, have these responses, because I'm just like, it wasn't that deep.
Yeah, no, I don't think
wasn't
I don't
that
think
deep
she's
at
being
all.
made to do anything. We see that at the end of the episode, which we'll get into. Jennifer, what's up? I see you
Well,
over there, girl.
Maybe. Claudia didn't think that she would get kicked off the show, and producers said, hey, if you're not going on this trip, you better be involved in some way.
Oh, maybe.
And she has to be in the storyline still.
Yeah, you never know.
Because if there was no Claudia, what would be the storyline of that, other than Ashley and Darnell?
We would have had a grand old time with what I've been tweeting to Eve for weeks, that it should just be about Ashley and Darnell. And some cameos from Vanessa.
You're not the
Some
only one.
cameos from Astrid.
You're not the
I'm
only
all
one.
No,
for
I will
it.
have to be on. I'm going to go with Jennifer's point here. We see it on the hike. I mean, there is a level of hatred that's coming along when Astrid shows up into this conversation when it comes to Hencha and the tension. Tension is present because of Astrid on this show and because of Claudia. Right now, they are what is bringing the drama. And as we all know in reality TV, it's about the drama if it ain't about anything else.
Yep.
I was I did not see what Vanessa meant when she brought up that Astrid wasn't coming at Hencha the right way in order to get respect for her, and the difference of it, the way that they were going back and forth. So Astrid was like, oh, I should have approached Hencha like this to get her to respect, or what I call bow down. And Vanessa was like, yeah, you gotta demand respect, get respect. I didn't see Vanessa
I didn't
demand
know
respect.
where that came from.
Yeah. From what they
called it
I
last
know why.
time.
No. I know where it came from, but that's not how that whole situation went down.
Exactly.
So it was kind of like, you're puffing up
Yes.
a situation imagine that like, I mean, this is footage. Like, we
Yes.
can go back and rewatch episode 3. Like, don't make it seem like it was more than what it was. What I do respect is the fact that she had an issue with her, and they sat down like women, and they discussed it. My issue with reality TV at this point is I get that drama sells, but can it be authentic drama?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to see
you don't think this
some-
was authentic? I
Here's
think
my
this
issue.
episode was
I think
authentic
that-
as shit
No,
with
I think
drama.
I think this episode was authentic, but I think the whole issue with Claudia, I think a little bit of it is puffed up. Like, I don't have to, there are several people that I work with on a regular basis that I don't particularly like, but that doesn't mean I'm constantly stirring the pot. Like, at the end of the day, like, agree to disagree. Like,
Yeah, I don't
why
think that's
is it
happening.
an issue?
I don't think that's happening. I think these girls legit, there's an energy there that they don't like. They don't like. And I think that when Hencha and Vanessa squashed it, it has nothing to do with the way that Vanessa brought respect to the table. It had to do with Hencha, in my opinion, thinking that Vanessa was at a status, at a higher status
I
than
didn't see that at
Astrid.
all.
No, this is an opinion, a perspective of mine. Intuitively, I'm thinking that Hencha's like, okay, Vanessa dating an athlete, already in that scene, aligns with me better anyway. I vibe with her more than Astrid, so it's not anything outside of the fact of higher status, better potential friendship in the future, and then just not clearly giving a hoot about Astrid and what she brings to the table, because Hencha thinks she brings nothing. I think that's where we're missing a gap here from a respect level. But there is a lot of tension, but a lot of underboob as well. What about those shirts in this episode?
I don't remember.
What?
Sorry.
Okay, wait a minute.
The
You guys
little
did not
bikini tops.
see. Okay,
bikini
like
tops.
talking about tension and talking about things just being right up there. Like, hello,
Tension.
every single shirt. We have under boob, we have over boob, we have side boob, we have front boob. No one noticed that but
I
me.
just was
I
not paying
mean,
attention.
I saw a few under boob. I know what you're talking about with the little bralette thingies. I mean,
It was all over the place. I don't know why. Maybe I just look for it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
well,
know.
I agreed with you last week
Yeah.
when Hencha took off her top and
Oh,
then
that
we
was-
got it
I'm
back
still
that
trying
was
to
on.
figure that out.
Yeah,
That was blatant.
Yeah, maybe I have to go back and look at the boob.
No, it's okay. I was just shocked because I was like, well, tension. There ain't no tension.
You probably weren't the only one.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
all over the place. All over the place. And with the attire, let's talk about the hats. This is another thing that I wanted to
Yeah.
get your all's take on. Okay, the hats. Everything that happened in this moment with these hats, to me, is the epitome of the stereotypical girl, right? This is why in the past I went away from girlfriends, because generally this goes away with age. It did not here. Two things that I saw that I wanted to know, and I'm curious what you guys are thinking about this. The fact that there was a blatant disregard to exclude people. This was intentional by Astrid. Let's take pictures. She says it on the show, at least on the show she says it, and not caring about them, not thinking about them, and then I'll be damned if I'm gonna get y'all hats when you guys are talking shit about my best friend. I was shocked. I was happy. I was happy that Matisha finally spoke up. After 8 episodes, we see Matisha start.
Matisha.
Yeah, Matisha start. That was great. So it wasn't passive aggressive, which I do feel, at least with the typical girl thing, it's about, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to forget to get you hats, but they did. But at least these two chicks were like, yep, don't want you to have a hat. And the other one's like, you wanted to exclude me? You won. What did you guys think of that? That whole situation that transpired.
With just the whole entire
Just
situation.
The fact that we have women that are in their late 20s and early 30s that are using hats to make others feel jealous and excluded.
I
Come
mean,
on.
it's just the cherry on top of a big situation. It's like you're putting more fuel on the fire. So it's just more puffing up, puffing up, puffing up.
Yeah. I don't think it was fake, though. I literally think this was an intentional move.
Well, I didn't think it was necessarily fake, but if you listen to her first statement was, I mentioned it, I forgot about you guys, you know, you guys didn't say, like, speak up. But why would I go the extra mile when you guys don't like my best friend, is what I felt like the basis of the conversation
Yeah,
was. So
yeah.
I don't feel like she intentionally was trying to leave them out, but it's like, why would you be at the forefront of my brain to remember you if we don't vibe like that? So that's kind of what I read in it. I didn't see an intentional, like, I'm gonna purposefully leave you guys out, but that's just what I heard.
I would not want to be dealing with that. I would not want to be dealing with that on a vacation with other women at this age.
No.
But maybe that's just me. I'm
No,
just not.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I was just
Well,
like,
first
nah.
of all, I
wouldn't
wouldn't
care.
want to go on vacation with a bunch of girls that don't like me or I dislike.
Even if you had a show?
no. Like, I'm quick to be like,
So you'd be the
Dominique
Claudia.
Yvonne Price is
She'd be the Claudia.
leaving because so here, but
Would
that's
you
the
text
thing.
us?
I feel like Claudia. Let's all see if we're on the same page. Claudia did not miss this trip because she genuinely just did not want to go.
Maybe.
She felt like her relationship was in the crapper and she needed to tend to that, because then you're not a WAG if you allow your relationship to go to hell. So that's what I felt like she was doing. She realized that my relationship isn't where I want it to be. Asher got her together and said, hey boo, you need to take ownership in your relationship and you need to do something to fix it. It all came around the same time as the show. I mean, not the show, but I mean of them going to Croatia. So if it's between me taking away time from my relationship, knowing that it may or may not be where I want it to be, or staying with my boo and trying to figure us out, I'm gonna stay with my boo. So to me, I felt like it wasn't a blatant disrespect on Claudia. So what do you guys think?
Wow, I love 8 seasons now. Team C right now. Team C, high fives. No, I'm on the same page in essence. I remember the conversation about the relationship not being exactly where she wanted it for a show. If I have a reality show, I'm gonna go, and my man will understand because he knows that I'm a boss lady. I'm successful, and I'm gonna go on my show, and that's that. I'm gonna FaceTime you every 10 minutes, but I'm gonna go personally. So I think,
okay, well then
I'm taking it that way.
let's look at Darnell's situation. She has
I think
told
this is
us
a
that
root.
this show
100%.
may have caused to the
100%.
demise of her relationship. So when you know that ahead of time and you're deciding, okay, am I going to push forth in, growing my brand or making sure that my relationship is solid before I put this type of scrutiny on it, what do you decide?
Yeah, but I don't think Claudia and Julius were anywhere near that type of scrutiny.
I'm just saying, like, that's a tough place to be in.
Sure.
And I feel like
Sure.
Claudia has said from the very jump of this show, my relationship
Comes first.
comes before everything.
Love that. I love that. I do. I just still personally would have gone one way or the other.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I get why she didn't go. I
Yeah.
just feel like she could
get
have
it.
communicated better.
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
I mean, girl code has been a theme again in this episode since episode 1. I think the first title of any of these
Yeah,
there
it was
was one
Girl
or two
Code.
was girl code. So let's talk about that girl code. We first have it brought up when Matisha goes to Darnell to say, your girl's taking selfies when you clearly are feeling some type of way. Hey, it's girl code, you should or shouldn't bring this up, whatever that may be. Let's explore that a little bit. Again, we talked about Ashley and her awareness in the beginning of this episode. When Matisha goes and confronts her, again, we have, like you said, Vanessa and Ashley talking, and then it just goes, and then they have that argument. Girl code or not, what were your first reactions when you saw them fighting in this episode? Warranted, not warranted? What's up?
Wait, who's fighting?
Ashley and Darnell.
And Darnell with the selfie thing?
Well, the selfie thing initiated it. So the fight
Yeah.
that they had when they started going and they were like, look, this is where I'm at. I've had it up to here. I don't want to teach anybody how to treat me. When you guys saw that fight, what were your thoughts?
I
saw
guess
both
I didn't really
sides.
see it as like a fight because
Yeah.
it was like a closed door conversation and we're two very loud individuals, so we're screaming at each other.
Yeah.
But I thought it was needed. I think they both had some stuff on their chest that they wanted to get out, and I'm glad they were able to do that in the privacy of it just being between them and not being between all of the girls. Because I think that's where I've seen all of these girls F up.
Yeah.
It's like you had a public conversation that should have happened between two individuals, and I'm so sorry, you guys.
Yes. I love that they have that knockdown, drag out type of relationship, and then they're cool. I mean, unfortunately, that's what we see more so with dudes, and that's why I love having guy friends like that. And I do have some girls where like we literally go at it and we're fine. That showed a lot of strength to me, and I don't blame Ashley for not. I would not, if I noticed that my friend was upset. I mean, it's my time to shine. Like, I've been waiting on that ring. I'm not going to go to my girlfriend and say, are you upset? If I invite you to my dress shopping, say no. If we're on vacation, go around someone else, whatever that may be.
She gives her a choice.
Yeah.
She said, do you want to come with me?
Right.
Would you like to be my bridesmaid? Do you want to be a part of this? And then the picture thing, I think that, you know what? You're in Croatia, you're on vacation taking pictures. You can't ask someone every 5 minutes if they're okay. And Darnell's so strong that as a friend of a strong woman, you think that she's all right. And if she needs something, she'll
She'll
ask.
tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think Matisha was stirring the pot?
No, I think she genuinely could tell that Darnell's her energy was off, and I think she was just trying to like chuck on her. I think a few of the things that she kind of threw out there may have been a tiny bit of a dig, but knowing kind of like the person that Matia has like displayed to us, I don't feel like she was like trying to be vindictive.
Right, but there was no reason to bring up Ashley's name. Like, why isn't Ashley, asking you?
I agree with that. I think that was pretty indirect.
No reason to point out that she's taking pictures. Why do they have to be connected at the hip? She's allowed to go take pictures.
Yeah, it was.
She looked good.
I thought maybe that since they obviously watched the other episodes, Croatia was a decision after, so they had the 6 tape. They started watching them. I almost feel like Matia saw a side of herself on the show. Like, I'm not speaking up. I'm not well liked right now by the girls. So this episode, this season finale, this trip, she spoke up and she started trying to penetrate the girls, like get infiltrated in from a friendship perspective. And we see that a little bit, and we'll jump to the end. We see that when Hencha turns into the bull, when Matitia's upset with Astrid. That whole thing, I want to touch on the why, but I'm just going to flow with it. Hencha is in essence saying Matia caused this, almost implying that it was intentional, and preaching about her playing the victim all the time. And you hear Hencha say, I wrote it down, I have to be willing to change for people to change towards me. That got me. It's almost like, again, she saw in retrospective, this is how I'm observed, this is how I'm being portrayed on TV. I want to make sure I'm good with these girls. We see these two part ways. Were you surprised about that?
A little bit, just because if they seem to have a relationship well beyond doing this show, and so it seemed as if, okay, looking at Darnell and Ashley, they were able to express, their grievances and move forward. I was kind of surprised that Matia and Hencha weren't able to do that. But it was funny because I felt like Hencha called it before it happened. She said, I'm going to try and express myself to her, and she's going to make it about her, and she's going to make it seem like she's the victim, and that's exactly what she did.
Is that what y'all saw?
When they began talking, she immediately went into like a me, and didn't understand, I felt like, where Hencha was trying to come from. Was just like, I don't like how I showed up in this situation, and for me to be able to change, I have to like do X, Y, Z. And I didn't feel like Matia was open enough to hear what Hencha was truly saying. Yeah,
for her to instigate, knowing that her friend is like that was pushing the envelope. Like, I can't say that, I'm normally probably the one that would have to go back in to do something about it. I'm never normally the Matia, so I can't say this, but I'm going to guess. I'd probably behind closed doors the next morning, knowing how alcohol changes people, I would have said something like, I didn't like how you didn't have my back. But in that moment, that heated moment, again, I think that is definitely premeditated from seeing the other episodes and being like, do something about it. Completely. Again, though, Astrid with the inappropriate timing. She is doing horrible in her conversations and timing with this. Why, when we're all having fun being drunk and footloose and fancy free, are you going to call Claudia and put Claudia on FaceTime?
And she knows that Hencha is drunk.
Well,
like,
just drunk.
Right. Well, everybody seemed to be drunk, and no one seemed to be ready for that conversation.
No.
So, I do remember
drunk.
being on Twitter last night and seeing a tweet from Astrid along the lines of, I was told to go back in there and FaceTime Claudia in front of the group.
Who said that?
Astrid said that on Twitter.
About who told her to?
She said somebody from production. She was asked to. She wasn't in the room. She was asked to go back in there and FaceTime Claudia.
It's probably because Croatia was such a boring location that they had to start up some drama.
I don't know.
No guys either. You'd think that there'd be some guys around.
Not in Croatia. Why would that?
Then half of them are dating or engaged.
Astrid picked it. I don't know.
In a hat. Come on, Croatia.
Whatever. It is what it is. What? Anyway.
So she tweets. Somebody asked me to do it.
Yes. And so my thing is, here's my thing. Regardless of being on a reality TV show or not, there is a thing that we call willpower. There is a motion in which you put into the atmosphere of wanting to decide to do something or not deciding to do something. I think anyone watching this would have told you that probably wasn't going to end well. Nothing about her calling Claudia would have been a good idea. Like,
maybe they're giving her bonuses. Like, hey, you get extra TV time. You get this.
Who
you get
knows?
that. I don't know.
But it was horrible timing. I was totally lost. I mean, it looked typical. I know, I mean, there are people that are so loyal to their friends, and that maybe she was in her happy, sprightly moment, like, oh, we're all tipsy, let's talk to Claudia now if we're ready. Like, who knows? That's where I was trying to attempt to see where she was coming from. But when she stood up and started raging,
and picked up the fruit.
Well, first of all, the call from Claudia was done. She was trying to say something, and a drunk Hencha who's crawling on the floor. Like
Matia was the one that started it.
Matia was yelling at, because Astrid started yelling at Hencha. Matia kind of jumped in there and was like, she's drunk. Like, you can't see that she's not drunk. And Astrid, like, flew off the handle.
See, I think that's from her conversation with Vanessa when they were hiking. That whole, you didn't command respect. You didn't do this. And she was trying to be like, and that's kind of what initiated and got her upset.
Right, but that's not how you display a level of, like, demanding respect.
Well, clearly that's how she did it in that moment.
And that was a fail.
That was
She
wild.
was 2 seconds away from not having hair in a patch.
Wild.
Like that just wasn't a good idea.
But everyone's faces when they brought Claudia on, that no one looked happy. No one looked happy to discuss it, to talk about it, or anything. It was literally
time and place. Time and place.
It wasn't a group discussion. Astrid just decided, so it wasn't
I didn't see her go off or come back in either.
Right.
You know.
Right.
That was very interesting. When they cut to, again, for the life of me, you two would probably know better than I. When they cut to where they're talking and it's not the episode.
When they cut to
Confessions.
Okay, is it still called Confessions? I know, like in the 90s or whatever. Confessionals. Okay. So when they cut to the confessionals, something really struck a chord with me. Astrid's like, I'm loyal, right? And I'm ride or die and so forth. And she's like, and when these girls are playing mean girls, it blah, 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 blah. But then I went back to the hats. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Weren't you playing mean girl with the hat scenario? What is going on here?
I think the issue that I was seeing, at least with this episode, is that you are demanding a lot that you're not giving yourself, is all I could see. It was like, you are saying you want respect, you want people to, stop coming for your friend, but you need to do the same thing. And it's point blank, the period.
So you're saying, what I hear you saying, I'm reading between the lines here. What I hear you saying is you're demanding a lot of respect, you want the proper attention and so forth, but you're not opening yourself up to being good friends with them or giving them even a chance to shed light on what could be something negative that's happening.
I mean, Astrid hasn't liked Hencha since the episode when they went to the baseball game. Like, let's be real. This isn't all about Claudia. Like, if you don't like somebody, don't hide behind another situation. Say, I don't like you for XYZ reason.
Which Claudia tweeted. If you're going to get wet around my man, I ain't trying to have you pee your pants, but I'm not bringing you around.
And I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes, I get it too. Again, what I don't get is that ending. I mean, we see Hencha and Matia, they're parting ways. That friendship is, at least at this point, it looks broken. Hencha took up for Astrid. There was a line in there where Hencha blatantly noted when she woke up with Darnell, like, I see why Astrid got upset and so forth. I'm not...
I still don't see, I have to go back and watch it. I still don't understand why Astrid got so upset. I get a respect level, like I'm talking and you guys are drunk and doing all kind of stuff, but you also have to realize that you're dealing with drunk individuals. And that's the part that I felt like it was really unnecessary.
And also building up. Sometimes you just snap.
And that's what I feel like it was. From the hiking thing,
from Vanessa's conversation with the hike, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Matia was leaving early. She starts crying. She gets upset. The whole victim card, like I again, unless I was missing something, I didn't see where she went to play the victim. And I also didn't see where Hencha tried to receive. Hencha said, I went to bat for you. I have a temper. But where did we see Matia play the victim? I missed that at the end. Because I know y'all just
it was a line that she said in there that was like, me.
She was crying.
Like she did for the, because I remember the modeling thing with Astrid. She was like, I did this. I was like, well, then don't offer your time. You know what I mean? Okay, because I didn't see that at the end.
I'd have to go back. I didn't take notes. So.
Yeah. No, I just was very unclear. But that friendship obviously is not as ride or die as we see Ashley and Darnell and Claudia and Astrid. That was an awesome line that they all at the end, like they literally use the term ride or die. Like, that's my girl, I'm loyal till the end. I thought that was amazing. I loved the way they ended the episode. And again, that validated for me. At first, when we started this season, I was like, okay, I love it either way because I love the whole WAGS, brand, everything like that. And these women are a good time. I've said a couple times before, is this stage? Are they overdoing it? But after seeing this episode, I don't think they are. I think these are real women who are highly emotional and very driven and passionate about not only their friendships, but their personal relationships. And the way that we ended this episode talking about that, how Astor feels about Claudia, the Ashley and Darnell thing, this validated for me that these WAGs are even more real than the ones in LA. Because we are seeing raw life, that's their life, raw footage about how intense and how passionate they are. Did either of you guys feel a shift for that? Like, because I know we've talked about it being a little staged and a little intense. But
I get it, but I don't know, Matisha's confessional at the end when she was like bringing up Larry, then she said, at least, or I didn't have a relationship with whatever that guy's name was who was the little guy. She brought him up, and I thought to myself, like, she obviously is being told what points to hit about, what she's accomplished in this season. It just seemed a little staged, and then I was watching the rest of the girls, then it just seemed like they recorded it maybe a few times, but I don't know, that's about it. Other than that, what you were saying, I agree, where they are a lot rawer and a lot more passionate than the girls in LA, and that obviously comes from a very genuine place. And obviously seeing Darnell and Ashley and all those relationships, it looks very, very genuine. But there's some bullshit there.
As always
lined
with
with bullshit.
Always with reality.
What did you think though about Matisha's ending?
So I was it's funny you bring up the relationship part, when she was just like, I didn't get my ring, I didn't get this, me and Larry are over, like I was
why bring up Larry?
Well, Hencha also said, I want to be married in the future, I want to maybe have kids. I was very, I think that was a staged rap, but since it is WAGs and we've gone back and forth on why are these women even in the show, because they're not girlfriends and they're not wives, and I guess they have to end on that. But it again validated for me that these two women are party friends. I did not see authenticity. I saw that with Claudia and Astrid. I envied that in a good, positive way, and I envied Ashley and Darnell. I yearned for those types of relationships, and these two, they did not have it. To me, this was an ending. So interesting way to, I don't think it was staged. I don't think producers were like, talk about this, here are your key points. I think this is a conscious choice by these two women to talk about themselves and the relationships they wanted to create in hopes of being on this show, versus what the other two women talked about, which was, in essence, they shouldn't call this WAGs, they should call it like Babs or something, like best friends of athletes and babes. Like, I don't know, but it was, because there was the theme to me in all 8 episodes. This was about women empowerment and friendship and what athletes can do to your psyche, to your self-cess, and what it is to really have good quality relationships.
True, but I think the whole beginning of where WAGS came from was supposed to be a community of women that you could kind of rely on to go through this experience with. So I think that's exactly what they're showing. I think the difference between, WAGS and LA is that a lot of them are disjointed. They were all pretty much plucked one by one.
LA was?
Yeah, okay. to do this show. Whereas with WAGS Miami, we're seeing them plucking groups of friends, so that it seems a little bit more authentic. It's a little bit more genuine, because it's hard when I'm meeting you for the first time and now we have to kind of produce this event or this relationship. It's not going to be as real to the audience. And I think that's one of the major differences. I think it is interesting though, I watched the highlight for next week's
for the reunion,
and I can honestly say I was really, really surprised. And I hope it's because we're seeing clips out of context and we don't know exactly what the, entire dialogue was.
Purple People Eater?
No, not that. I don't, like I said, I don't know. Claudia made a comment about that's why you're homeless and you and your kid don't have a place to live. And I just felt like, from a mother to mother, I don't care what the argument was beforehand.
That's low.
That was something that was really unnecessary. And like I said, I'm watching it out of context. I only got a snippet, so I'm hoping that when I watch it next week, they said something real low blow to Claudia for her to feel the need to say that. But in that moment, I started to see what Ashley was saying about when she feels like at certain points, Claudia makes everyone around them feel like she's here and they're here. And in that moment, I'm like, I see where you guys are coming from. And it's unfortunate if that's how she comes across. We know a lot of people like that. And I pray that if she, is on the show for season 2, she's able to look back at this and see like, wow, maybe I do need to switch up how I communicate with other people.
Yeah, reunions are raw. I mean, I think context or not, people get dirty on there. I'm just going to be not seeing Andy Cohen, because I know this is like not the first, but this Bravo really started the whole reunion thing. So E doing it and having Tiki Barber, I didn't necessarily in that cut feel that vibe, but that's probably just because I'm drawn to Andy. He used to date my cousin's boyfriend now, so like I love him. We go to the shows, and I don't know. I think what we're gonna see is raw. But speaking of that, since we're talking about the reunion, I guess we should get into some. I'm not saying that it's not raw.
I'm just saying that there should be a line.
Wait, did I say that you said it wasn't raw?
No, I'm saying you said that I'm excited to see rawness, and I'm like, it's not a matter of being raw. I feel like it's a matter of like, I just feel like there's certain levels that like as a woman you should never cross.
Sure. No, I didn't even address that statement. Then I was talking about something separate and distinct, but I agree. I think having a mom come at another mom and say something along those lines and throw that out there, is not, I mean, it's real and it's raw. It ain't appropriate, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I don't know. I think it's wrong. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
right,
But since we are coming to a close with this, we might as well, since we're talking about the reunion, get into some predictions of what we think we're going to see.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Jennifer, let's start with you, darling.
I think we're gonna see a lot more comments from girls that I didn't think would, go there. Like Darnell, I don't know. What is she gonna say? Like, I feel like there's gonna be a lot going back and forth, and they're letting it all out. So I don't know. We'll see, because we saw the very edited, very pulled version of next week. So we'll see.
Okay, Dami, what you think, girl?
I think I could see one of the girls leaving the stage and deciding they're not going to continue with the reunion show.
Okay, so you're saying next season when they get season 2?
No, like during the reunion show. I see somebody getting up and just being done.
Like a Housewives situation, like getting up and go.
I think they bring them back for the Housewives, don't they?
Oh, they make them go back.
Yeah.
There's no leaving.
Predictions, God. Well, after the outfits I saw, ladies, no offense, your outfits in the confessionals were much better than what we saw for this one. So I think we're going to be seeing some interesting outfits. And I think a lot that shouldn't be coming out, our perception of our reality on the reality show, I think a lot's going to be exposed that should not be being exposed, which is going to confuse viewers. But at least it's going to be coming out. And I think those conversations need to happen for some resolution to occur with the women, because as we just talked about, we have passionate women who are direct, raw, we love it, and that's always going to have conflict when you have that. So yeah.
Do you think there'll be a different cast for season 2?
I think we might see a couple different people.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, as we've said before, I hope we see a couple more actual girlfriends.
Wives.
Yeah, or wives.
Wives.
One or the other.
Probably all the wives are like, I'm not getting involved.
And I know a lot of WAGs who are serious about the fact that they would never in a million years
you said that
their relationships to
because some of your girls
TV.
have that, and you were just, they were even like, what you doing, girl, on the show?
No.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us this season for WAGS Miami. We hope to catch you next season. I am one of your hosts, Heather Yared. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Heather Yared. And for the last time, to my left, the lovely Dominique.
I'm sad to leave you guys all, but if you want to keep up to date with what's going on here at AfterBuzz and what's going on in my life, you guys can do so by following me on all social media platforms at DominiqueP_ESQ.
I'm Jennifer Leone. I do a lot of shows here. You can find out on Twitter and Instagram at Jennifer Leone TV.
All right, guys. We'll see you next season.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.